SQL is a language that's used for basically retrieving data from a database. So when we talk about SQL, it's called a structured query language, hence why it's used in databases, because a query is something like a question you ask to something. So SQL, a structured query language, is used to basically contact a database and say, right, I want this information from it. Um, because of that, it's got literally no security built into SQL. SQL has no security whatsoever on it. It's literally just used to ask questions to a database, and that's it. That's what it was designed for. So security has to come through other means. So I'm going to go into why it has to be secured in a different way. But because it has to be secured through other means other than the actual language itself, they can use specialized SQL codes to or languages to put into the code to fetch data out of a database that they shouldn't, such as usernames or passwords. So they could, instead of when you type in on Amazon, for example, and you search for something, say like a controller, um, that uses SQL. So you would type in a controller, and it will go into an SQL statement saying, "I want to find a controller in our database." Now, depending on how skilled your hacker is, they could potentially turn around and go, "Right, I want to search for usernames and passwords in the database and bring that through." So that's how it essentially works. In order to stop that, SQL statements have to be formatted in order to stop that problem. So this is an SQL query here. This is on W3 Schools. If you do want to go on W3 Schools and check this out, this does work. You can just put in SQL statements and see how well it works. I'll probably go over it as well when I see people face to face. But um, basically, it's exactly what it says on the tin. So it says select customer names, the city that they're from a table called customers. Now, databases use tables where they store data, so that's one person, that's another person, that's another person, that's another person, that's another person, and obviously they're all from Mexico City. So, where it says where country equals Mexico, it's brought through all customers where the city is Mexico. So, when you type in this search for Mexico, it fetches through everybody that's associated with Mexico. However, if you were to replace this with, say, that there, so what this does is it stops this query, or it lets this query run here, and then puts in another query saying drop table customers. And what that will do is delete this entire table. It will just get rid of it. The dash dash after it comments anything out after it. So if you put that in a search bar instead, this SQL statement will run here. So it'll go select customer name, city, from customers where country equals Mexico. That's all fine. Then stop. So you should have seen this already, but that means end of line, that's it. And then it runs this next one saying drop table customers, and lo and behold, the result has completely gone because it's deleted the table. So hackers can use this to either delete stuff or bring stuff to them that shouldn't happen. As you can see where the dash dash is, it's gone green because it comments out anything that's on the right hand side. So you've basically duped the search into thinking, right, this is acceptable. We'll search for Mexico first, and then we'll run the drop table function after it. So that's how SQL injection works at the most basic level. And obviously, with websites that have search functions, um, if they don't protect against people putting things like this in, they can hack it in that way and do things like fetch usernames or delete tables. Now, when I say they add extra security on it, what they'll do is before this gets sent to the database, this will run through a script, and the script will see if there's anything like, say, semicolons in it or anything like that, because you can search semicolons using script in a web browser, and just say, right, if it's got these in it, take them out. And then after it's taken it out, it will not run that at all. It will just think you're searching for a country called Mexico drop table customers. It will think that that is the actual table name rather than it as a command. So instead of having Mexico then drop table, it will think the country is called Mexico drop table. um, that's how you would add basic security to it anyway. So that is how SQL injection works. It's basically taking advantage of search bars and things like that, and running different SQL queries that you shouldn't be able to do.